So we're in the, as mentioned, we're in the last class session. I'm going to go ahead and start this short PowerPoint to describe what we're going to be working on. And so just a quick review. Hopefully your exercises and your activities related to the perspectives has been interesting. As I mentioned last week, a lot of folks really like the SketchUp software when it comes to this point because a lot of experimentation can occur. So hopefully you found that interesting. As a quick review, I hopefully, or I hope that you have taken away from some of this the interconnection between all these drawings. You can see where the idea of a plan becoming a section, becoming elevations, becoming more elaborate and more detailed orthographic information kind of evolves from a process of the plan, then going to these other drawings. And you will see this reoccur as you go into, say, space planning, where those plan drawings become very important and become the seed or the foundation for future design decisions. Even though we didn't go through the Paraline process, those who are interested may want to review that information in the textbook. It is rather interesting and helpful. But hopefully in the last 4 weeks, you were able to see how the orthographic information became helpful in the development of drawings for others not within the design team, for your clients, for those who are working with you in a layman's capacity. So we started out with the 2-point, and then we went to the 1-point perspective. And as I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, hopefully you saw how strong a tool the SketchUp software could be in setting up your perspectives and then helping you complete some design decisions about the types of furniture and how they worked, the types of artwork and accessories and all those other elements, the buildings finishes for flooring and walls and all those things. I think are very well served by that software. Hopefully you found that to be the case for yourself as well. In doing all this, remember that the design has to be reviewed and understood by others. And where it becomes particularly challenging is conveying detailed information to your clients, and those ideas really have to do with how well you can conceptualize them, providing for the emphasis and the refinements necessary to make your design understandable and acceptable to others. So the process of building these perspectives is really an important piece of the process, especially for those who may not be professionally inclined as architects and designers are. Okay, so we're going to move on now. At this point, we're going to start talking about what the final project will be for the semester. And I think this is kind of a fun project. A lot of folks enjoy it. It doesn't require really any new drawings. It's really about working with the information that you have developed over the last 8 to 10 weeks and actually the whole of the semester. So the idea here is to use the information that you've generated by hand and enter it into some sort of a digital format that can be articulated into a final piece. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what that's about. All right, so our goal is to create a collage piece, and we'll get into the details a little bit more, but to create a composition of these elements, the floor plans, the sections, the perspectives, and all these other drawings that you've put together, and creatively present them to the class on a single board. So the idea is that you will be uploading your material into Canvas, and then you will be making a very short presentation to the class. And by that, I mean maybe 1 or 2 or 3 minutes, but the goal of this is to use the graphics information that you are presenting on this board and to express your views of the work you've done in verbal form, in terms of describing, you know, the insights and the lessons learned, and maybe some design and discretionary ideas about what it is you wanted to present in this final piece. And so this goes rather quickly, but I think you should have fun with creating the material that we're going to be presenting next week. All right, so in order to complete the assignment, you're really preparing one single piece of work, and you're going to then format it in 2 sizes. Now, I've listed 11 by 17, and that is so that piece will go into your portfolio. We'll talk about the portfolio in the assignment a little bit later, but also that we need the work presented in an 18 by 24 inch format as well. And this is often identified as an ARC-C, and in this particular case, we want to do it in landscape size because it'll be landscape orientation. So anyway, ARC-C is the size if you're having to fish around for it in formatting elements. So to do this, what you want to do is pull out the work that you've done, the drawings that you have created through the whole semester, and scan the work into a JPEG format. This will then get each of those pieces available to place on a collage. So a couple ideas. First of all, I'm proposing doing this in JPEG. Some of you may be inclined to work with Photoshop, and so a PDF format might work better for you. I will leave that to you. Some of you may want to work in software that is provided by Mac, in an Apple platform, as opposed to working in a Microsoft platform. But we've provided some information for you in that Microsoft way, Microsoft methodology. Those of you who know Apple and know Adobe may use those formats. It's fine with me. I've just given you a demonstration in the videos that you'll be seeing on how to do that. So first thing is to scan your work, and you can do that. Some folks have done that with their cameras. They've taken photographs of the work and saved it as a JPEG and put it into a folder so that they can, and identified it as scanned work, and then they can then retrieve the work in digital form and apply it to the software using the instructions that we've provided, or again, your own resources and methodologies. So the goal is to complete the work and then to save it. Now, in the general class, when I'm meeting in face-to-face, we suggest that you would then plot the work and print it. In this particular case, I'm going to ask you to, if you want to plot it and print it, I think that's a fine idea, just to have that available. You're definitely going to want to plot the 11 by 17 so it goes in your portfolio. But the 18 by 24, you can save your money and just make sure that your work is plotted or is formatted that size and able to be uploaded into Canvas for next week. And then I have organized a method for presenting. So we're going to continue on. So this is a way of showing your work. I think this is extremely uninspired. I think if you choose to do something this simple, you won't achieve what the goals of the project are. There's very little experimentation here. So I'm going to suggest that you may not want to use this approach. Obviously, it's old, looking at the label down there at 2015. I think, you may want to experiment with the software and do more layers and try something that is a little bit more stimulating to the eye. Now, this work was done several years ago, and you can see that there's a variety of things going on here. There are a more interesting juxtapositioning, a more of a compositional type of approach to the piece. You can see there's far more labeling going on here. We can see what the different elements are. You can see that there's a more complete title block down below. In either case, this is just a sampling of what might be something you want to do. And we have given you, as I mentioned previously, a demonstration video using the Microsoft project, or not project, Microsoft PowerPoint, and to create a single slide that will, where you can use all the tools and bring in your work and compose it in this kind of way. So again, you're the designer here. This is your opportunity to really explore what the software can do for you in making something more interesting than the previous slide. That is really very ho-hum and will probably earn you a lesser grade than something more interesting and stimulating like this. So is this what I want to see? This is my answer, not yours. Come up with your own answer. That's the goal. So after you've done that, then you'll, and I, by the way, I've got a video that explains a bit more about this, and so you'll want to view that in a few minutes. And then after that is the demonstration video on how to work with PowerPoint as a graphic tool, and so you can view that next. But the goal on this is that you will then make a presentation. I will share the screen. We're going to do this on a conference Zoom meeting next week at 4:30. So I'm going to need you to have all your work uploaded in this format in a PDF. Please convert your final piece to a PDF and upload it into Canvas. I will have all these elements or all these collages downloaded, and I will share them on a screen, and then you will be asked to spend just 2 or 3 minutes to describe why you composed your work like it is provided here. And so with that, you'll be sharing with the class in spoken word. That's really our goal. Afterwards, we will then do a quick review of portfolios, which is very, very simple and very, very brief, and then we'll be done. So this is really how we're closing the class, is with this presentation of the collage and a review of the portfolios. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close this short presentation, and I will bring it back out of the lecture, and we will talk just for a minute at what's in our assignment for the week. And so we'll take it down here to the very end. And so there's our notes on what I just really talked about. It's very brief, and we don't need to go over that again. And then here's the quick upload of the assignment in written form. Okay, it's a little bit different in that I want you to upload it. We're not going to make an in-person presentation. We're just going to upload it to Canvas and do it via Zoom meeting. I'll send out some more info on that. I think it's pretty straightforward. The presentation examples are, you saw those, they're there just as, this is the boring one, this is the one that has a little bit more interest to it. Again, with your encouragement, that's where we want you to go with that. And then what we have is we have some links to videos. This is me just describing what I've talked about again in this lecture. And then here is the idea or the demonstration on how to utilize the tools in a more interesting way, especially for the Microsoft platform. So that's really what's provided in the assignment this week. And so what we're going to want you to do is upload that collage right here. And please use this as a platform to bring in the information up. I'm going to want that information or that assignment no later than 4 o'clock because I'm going to need a few minutes to download them and get the files organized for next week's presentation. So with that, I'm going to close the recording of the assignments that we're doing and bring it back to questions.